A new experience, so stay tuned and stay present. Being present in the now. What a great analogy of your grandson. I love that, the idea that he was very observant and he cracked the code and gave me a whole different perspective on hackers. It's like they're just being present in the moment. They're seeing what's up. The world seems to be in a great deal of flux and shift and movement in people, places, and things. And so I know that in this idea, this physical storm of Irene, as it has moved across the east coast of this country, is just the expression of nature. In and of itself, there is nothing that is evil or wrong in this experience. Out of it, we know that there are things that happen to individuals and places that we would not prefer to happen, we would not choose to happen, and yet we know that life on this planet Earth is forever in this flow, in this movement, in this interaction of things that we don't always have control of. There are some things that we can direct, that we can control, that we can drive in our personal life, but there's a great deal of activity that is going on in not only the world and in the galaxy, but the universe as a whole that is not of our choosing directly. It is about that infinite intelligence, that which I call God, that out of a desire to have experience has created this physical universe in order for there to be an unlimited activity of experience going on and about and around us. And all of it is that divine intelligence. All of it is God, because there is nothing else. So how we perceive it, how we interact with it, how we choose to address it or manifest it in our own personal life is the area by which we have the influence and the control in manifesting our destination. So just hold that general thought that there's a whole lot of activity going on in the world, and some of it you can't control. And there is places where you can make choices. This week was an incredible week for me. I'm not sure what happened last Sunday, but I know that there was a shift that went on, and there was something that was in my consciousness that took me to another place, and to come back into it was challenging, to say the least. And so I've talked to a number of people this week, and some of what's coming out of that is going to be some shift that's going on here in the center. So I'm just going to kind of forewarn you, just be present. Learn to crack the code. Nothing is going to harm you. Everything here is for your highest and greatest good. So just kind of relax into that and breathe into that. And maybe you could stretch a little bit. In fact, let's everybody stand up. because today is about stretch and flex. So everybody needs to stretch really, really, really far. And then I want you to flex your biceps. I want you to flex that power that's within you. Stretch again, and then flex the power within you. How's that feel? Yeah. Good. All right. You can sit down. Thank you. So the stretch and the flex that we're talking about today, in other words, in Science of Mind, in the philosophy of what we're teaching, is about this idea of choosing and accepting. So the stretch is when you're choosing. So when you look at your life and you're in this place of something that you have to choose, whether it's people, places, or things in your life, every day there's a moment. In fact, every day there's probably 1,000 moments in which you have to make a choice. And some of them are really easy. It's like, I'm going to make a choice to get out of bed this morning. That's my choice. I didn't have to. In fact, I thought this morning, wouldn't it be great if everybody had just come on over to my place and we sat around in the pool and talked about this? I was really comfortable. But I realized that it probably would be best if I got up, got dressed, and came to the center, because that's where all of you were coming. So it was a choice that I made, that I was going to get up and stretch a little bit. Yesterday I didn't make that choice. I stayed in bed. I wanted to mention last week we prayed for my friend Reverend Kay Thompson, who made her transition this week in a very peaceful and loving way. So I know that the prayers that we were doing, as well as the prayers that so many other centers were doing for her and her family, allowed for her to stretch out into that infinite experience of life. And so there was no struggle, there was no burden, there was no stress to this gently, lovingly, carefully moving into the next experience. And then my week was filled with this incredible sense of football. I love football. People look at me and they think, what? I was like, I do. I just love football. And I'm watching this because I was really concerned that they were going to lock them out, strike, and cancel the season, that we would not have football. And I thought, now, if that happened, I was going to surrender into this idea that the economy has totally gone down the drain. But at the last minute, somehow they came to some agreement, to some understanding, and they renewed the multi-million-dollar contracts for these people to go out on this green field, and millions of dollars for beating each other up and knocking each other down and trying to grab this little thing and carry it from one end of the field to the other end of the field. And there's millions of dollars in every play that's going on. And I was like, this is good. Life is great. There is still an economy that is working in the world. Yes. There is no lack in limitation unless you want to buy into that. So stretch out into something greater than the naysayers and the people that are talking about lack and limitation. There is a great, magnificent, extraordinary universe that is waiting upon you to accept the good that has already been created.